Hey guys, I'm Shaddai. Welcome to StarCraft 4.0. This is a short tutorial guide for the Gateway Expand versus Terran and Zerg. The replay is versus an AI Zerg because I wanted to show the timings for sending probes to build things. It makes it a little bit easier to see that, where versus Terran it's a little bit easier to just explain where things go at the time. Versus Zerg, you're going to send your first probe to the natural to make your pylon to start your wall. Since there's no mothership core, this first wall is a pretty important thing. Now at 15, when you're building the next probe, that will give you 14 on minerals, assuming you didn't probe scout, of course. About halfway through that production, you grab a probe, and you're going to send him to wherever you're going to build your gateway. As soon as your pylon finishes, you chrono your probes. Gateway will start, build an extra probe. At 17 supply, you take your gas. As soon as you have enough energy again to chrono, you're going to do that. Notice I queue 3 probes here, because that's how many probes are going to be built with this chrono boost. And if you watch, chrono hits, that one finishes, one more pops, and then the other one almost gets done. And this probe gets rallied, the probe at 20 supply gets rallied to your natural base. Now the timing on this is 16 minerals, then you move the nexus to your gas, 2 go into the gas, and the third one's going to go out here to the natural. This build calls for a gateway scout versus both Zerg and Terran, and we'll talk about what you're looking for in another video, but this one is just to focus on the opener itself. At 20 supply, you're going to build your nexus and your cyber core. The cyber core is a little bit delayed by that AI drone coming through to scout, but it should be coming down right at 150 minerals. 21 supply, your gas comes down, and at 22 supply, your second pylon starts. Versus Terran, the difference is you're building your first pylon in the main base, and your gateway and cyber core as well. And when you build your 21 second gas, the probe that builds it will rally to the natural immediately, and at 22 supply, you can start your second pylon. Second pylon needs to go in the natural base because you need to be able to build shield batteries versus cyclones. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but just know that's why you're building your pylon in the natural. Wherever you put your main pylon, your first pylon in your main, is basically user preference. I like building mine by a gas just because that means I can build a battery in the main base mineral line. If you have a cloaked banshee attack you, it'll help minimize the damage you take from that. And versus proxy reapers having a shield battery in the mineral line means the reapers can't really ever kill a probe. It's just a very nice option to be able to build a shield battery in your mineral line. So after this pylon finishes, notice that we're going up to the next chrono boost. We're not actually going to spend it just yet. When this pylon finishes and your cybernetics core finishes, you're going to chrono whatever unit you're building first. Versus Zerg, I open Adept, versus Terran, I open Stalker. Personal preference. The other thing you'll notice is I didn't immediately start my warp gate research. Versus Zerg, and if you're building a Stargate versus Terran, generally, you start your first unit, and then when you hit 150 gas, you're going to start your Stargate. And then after your Stargate starts, you start your warp gate, and then you start whatever your second unit is out of the gateway. That is the end of the build order because this is the part where it changes a good bit versus Terran and Zerg. And what you're going to be opening for tech, what you're going to be opening for expansion timings, your build of choice, whatever you scout and react to, is going to very much determine the remainder of the game and where you go from here. But this is just a get me started in this patch tutorial. I do hope you enjoy it. If you found it useful, be sure to comment down below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for future updates and future tutorials and videos and guides, replay reviews, etc. And feel free to check out my social media stuff down below. Thanks and have an awesome day.